Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City Council meeting for Solvang on February 23rd, 2026. We're beginning at 6:30 this evening. And Ms. Mayor, would you ask our clerk to roll call, please? Just roll call, please.
I know what that means.
That's okay. Most of the people here don't either. Would you just say, would you read the roll call, please? Would you say that?
Would you read the roll call, please?
Thank you.
Councilmember Infante.
Here.
Councilmember Claudia Rona.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Elizabeth Arona.
Here.
Mayor Brown.
Here.
Mayor-elect Carter Levine.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And today we have Carter Levine, who is our junior mayor of the day, and is doing a fabulous job, don't you think? So, and now would you be so kind as to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance.
Just a second. Would everyone please stand and remove your caps? Let's stand up. Okay, now into the microphone you start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
That was great. Thank you. Now we have,
Can I go to my mom?
would you like to do what? You want to go tell your mom?
No.
Or you want, would you like? You want to sit with her? Would you, here, take your junior firefighter card and maps. Thank you, Carter. And later, Carter and her family will be doing a tour of all our department heads and see all the facilities of Solvang as the junior mayor. So thank you, Carter, for being here tonight. Our next order of business is the presentation by Santa Barbara County Fire Public Safety. Garrett, is that right?
So I wanted to take a moment. We have a new fire chief. Mark Hartwig retired recently, and Garrett was appointed, and he's here to give us a review of last year's fire information. So take it away, Garrett.
That's right. Thank you. Okay, it's on. Hot mic. Good. Yeah, my name's Garrett Huff. I'm a new fire chief. I became the chief on December 8th last year. New to the position, but not to the county. I've been with the county fire department for 20 years, so I know it well. I actually worked at Station 32 next door when Solvang came into the fire district. So been here since the partnership began. I have my PIO right here is Mike Gray. Mike's new to our PIO shop. He just came on board about a month ago, maybe. So we're building a new team. We're in the process right now. We had many retirements at the top end of the fire department, so we're kind of it's a good thing. We get to kind of assemble a new team and put everybody together that kind of meshes well. So we're in the process of that. I have a slideshow. You all received a copy of it. Are we ready to show that?
They're trying to make it work.
Problem? While they're doing that, real quick, our first slide says on the top, answering the call since 1926. So this year is our 100-year anniversary of our fire department. We started out as a forestry department with the county, and we evolved into an all-hazard fire department. So what that means is we do everything from vegetation fires, which are what our roots were, to structure fires, water rescues, EMS, vehicle accidents, medical emergencies, hazmats. We kind of do it all. I'll kind of wait till the... No pun intended. There you go.
There you go.
Perfect. Next slide. Perfect. So that's a slide indicating that we've been answering the call since 1926, and we're an all-hazard fire department. So that's kind of what that's. So we do community outreach. We have a bunch of programs. We have a fire safety trailer that goes to all the elementary schools. We do car seat installation checks. Station 30 has historically been one of the sites that has a trained technician. That's, believe it or not, a 40-hour class that you need to get recertified in every couple of years. So there are only a handful of people that have actually obtained that certification. So if anybody's interested, our website has more details on that. We do defensible space inspections. That's also weed abatement. There's a bunch of different terms. We call it defensible space. We do it every spring. We do community CPR and CERT, which is a community response team. Next slide. I'm proud to report out. Last year, I remember kind of talking that this was coming. We're here. The Regional Fire Communication Center opened and went live with all the county fire departments and AMR, our ambulance provider for the county. It was a slow transition, but we cut over AMR on June 30th of 2025. So by July 1st, every fire and EMS call was running out of our dispatch center. What that means for the countywide, is we've dropped all jurisdictional boundaries. And so now if there's, for example, a Santa Barbara engine is closer to a call than a county engine, even though it's in the county's jurisdiction, the city will get sent to that call to start care sooner. So it's the best thing for the community as far as it kind of drops all the borders. We're an ALS fire department, so we have a paramedic on every fire engine. So most of the time, we'll still send an engine because a lot of the city departments don't have a paramedic on them. So we'll send a fire engine as well. But that's a huge accomplishment for our county, is to have one regional dispatch center. The other thing, part of that project, was we expanded. Next slide, sorry. The Office of Emergency Management. They expanded their information center. And we did the ribbon cutting on the same day on December 9th for both the expansion of OEM and the RFCC. Next slide. It's just two of our canines we have in our department. We have a search and rescue canine and an emotional support canine, which is actually pretty popular. Rhonda is her name. She kind of goes with the song, Help Me Rhonda. And Dee is the search dog, and she is just as much of a emotional support dog as Rhonda is, but two of the things that we have that are kind of unique to our department. Next slide. Station 30, it's your fire station. So we're staffed here 24/7. We have a captain, an engineer, a firefighter, paramedic, and a firefighter EMT on every day. This station is a core station, so no matter what's going on, we try to staff this station because it can hit Buellton or San Ynez. So this is a core hub station. We have medic engine 30. We cross staff medic truck 30 and brush truck engine 330, which is the 4-wheel drive brush truck. Next slide. Okay, next slide again. This is the county overall incident stats for 2025. We ran just above 17,000 calls. You'll see most of those are EMS and rescue calls, and then the next biggest number is the public concern call. I want to get you a good definition between public service and public concern because those are worded very similarly. So a public service call is where there was never an emergency. It was just somebody needed help. I fell down, I need help up. Not really an emergency, but somebody's requesting help from the fire department. Where a public concern call or good intent call was there was most likely an emergency at some point, but it's resolved by the time we get there. That's kind of the difference between those two. All right, so then we're going to go to the next slide, and we get into Station 30 or Solvang stats specific. So last year in Solvang, we had 690 calls. Again, most of them were fire and EMS. You'll see that there was 8 fires reported last year, 83 public service calls, 15 vehicle accidents, and 113 good intent calls. And the dots on the map there represent where all those calls were. If you were able to open or expand that map, you would get more granularity. Next slide. Okay, so this kind of goes into a little bit more detail, same numbers as before, just gives you a little different view of that. And then the next slide. This is where we kind of compare and contrast last year's numbers with this year's, the 2024 and 2025. You'll see that it was pretty consistent. We only went up a couple calls from 2024 in all areas, but basically remained very consistent across the board. That's kind of the purpose of that slide. The next slide goes into rescue EMS, kind of gives you a little bit more depth into the increase. Actually, this was a decrease by 2 calls between the years. Next slide. Fires, 8. Last year, the year before was also 8. So again, consistent. Next slide. So this is the one of the bigger fires that happened last year. We called it the Mole Fire. When we name an incident, we name it based on a street or geographic location, not necessarily the title of the building. So that's why it's called different things. This fire is still under investigation. So that's all I can say at this point, is that our arson investigators are still investigating that fire, and we hope that there's some resolution soon on that one. Next slide. Solvang Brewing, they did determine that this fire was started by cleaning products that were left out, so it's spontaneous combustion. And so that was the determination of the Solvang Brewing fire. Next slide. And the Sears Steakhouse is also under investigation as well. So those 2 fires I can't speak any further about, except that they're still an open case. Next slide. This goes into a little bit more granularity on the public service calls. Like I said, these were calls that somebody needed help, but there was not really an emergency, so to say. Next slide. Vehicle accidents, and I'm pretty surprised that there's not more than 15 accidents with the amount of traffic that goes through here, but luckily everybody goes pretty slow. 15 accidents for a year is actually pretty remarkable for the amount of traffic. Next slide. Public concern, good intent call. Remember, this is the call that somebody thought might have been an incident, but by the time we got there, it was ruled to either resolved or was no longer an issue. Next slide. This slide indicates how many calls Engine 30 did in this district, right? So there were 650 calls that Engine 30 went on, backed up by Engine 31 in Buellton is the next largest. Engine 32 in San Ynez is the next largest. Station 24, I believe, is next. No, 26, that's in Orchid. The next 2 stations are in Orchid as well, and then Los Alamos. So this kind of shows one call. I would say those engines probably were here for the Mole fire. That's why they're showing up as 1. Next slide. This is just a snapshot on the county fire department. So we have 16 fire stations plus an aviation unit, crew, a hand crew, construction unit dispatch, and Station 30 historically kind of fits in the middle of our busier station calls, right kind of smack in the middle, and that's pretty consistent with what we saw last year as well. Next slide. Always want to give Mike's shop some kudos. We're on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X for live and trending information. Mike can also give you his information, or maybe leave some cards. But you can get a hold of him on those channels there. And that's the end of this slideshow. Are there any questions?
Thank you. That was it's delightful to have you here too. I mean, we get quarterly reports and nobody's here to explain anything, so it's kind of bounces off it's an echo type of thing. So we're glad you're here to answer questions. What's your typical response time? Because I didn't see anything that was related to response times to incidents.
That's a great question. And we'll see if we can include that next time. We go by, there's this organization called the NFPA, and it sets recommendations which become industry standards. So we set our benchmarks at what the NFPA recommends as far as what's acceptable response times. I don't have that slide in front of me, and I don't want to make up information on the fly for you, but I can report that back and get that to you for maybe the first quarterly report that we get you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious, thank you. You mentioned the 4x4 brush truck, I think you called it? Mm-hmm. How often do you use that?
Pretty frequently, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Well, in the summertime, that engine, it's also a fire engine. It carries 500 gallons of water and a lot of hose and all the hand tools, but it's mostly designated for wildland fires. Sometimes we'll use it for flooding because it's a high clearance vehicle. We can get across like flooded streets and stuff as well, and it's 4-wheel drive. But historically and most prominently, it's for wildland fires. Because of the location here in the valley, it gets utilized quite a bit. And then we're also part of the state system. So whenever there's a big fire anywhere in the state, usually our county sends out a strike team, and a strike team consists of 5 of those type of engines. And there's a set, it's not random, but it always rotates for like what we call every pay period. So every 2 weeks, a new engine comes up into the mix of the 5 that would go. So it's a rotation.
Sure.
So Station 30's in that rotation, and when they get activated, then we backfill the station and have crews come in either from home to staff the station, or we'll send a cover engine, because like I said, this station is kind of a hub or a core station. So we want to maintain coverage here. It's kind of a high priority, very high priority. So that when that engine goes out quite a bit, though, I could get you the specific stats on that one too, because that's a good.
I was just curious. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine here in the city that you would use that, but I never thought about,
It's more the periphery around, and
Yeah.
then the state response.
like when you guys went out to help with Sedgwick when we had the big fire a couple years ago.
Yeah, probably that engine was on it. Yeah,
Yeah, I got to think it was.
and it's on every first alarm response for any fire in the San Ynez Valley. So we'll send 4 of those type of engines to any fire that's anywhere really in the county. But if it's in the valley, most likely that engine's gonna get triggered.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
On that point, is that, Chief Huff, is that the engine that has the extension ladders, or is that on all of the engines that you have?
That engine does have an extension ladder, but it's I believe it's 16 foot. It's only one ladder, and it's not very large. All the ladder truck that we have here, the Truck 30, that has all the ladder complement. So that's, yeah. The other one is like just to kind of get you on a roof of a residential house if you're posted up at a residential house.
I have 3 questions. Just maybe I'll try to make them very quick. The call volume looks skewed, on District 30. Am I reading that right? We have 650 calls, and then the next largest volume is 20. Is that because we're a hub district, or what would you say should be our takeaway on that?
Which
Slide, sorry, mine aren't numbered. Call volume, this one right here.
okay.
There, yeah.
So the overall calls, is 690 in theory.
Oh,
if we-
overall, it looked
yeah.
like it was in the 30 district. Station 30 calls.
Yeah, that's true, because this is for the city of Solvang,
Yeah,
which is Station 30's district.
okay.
If we add all these up, it should equal 690.
Okay, so it's an aggregate, not a skew.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the total number of incidents.
So next question, what is your station's interlock with the helicopter service that we see out of San Ynez Airport? And how does that support your efforts?
So there is no direct correlation between the two. The station in San Ynez, there is a direct correlation too. So the paramedics that are assigned to that fire station cross-staff the helicopter when there's a medical call. So this station, it doesn't work like that, but we would be able to utilize all those air resources that our department has because it's all under our umbrella.
Okay.
But there is no connection like there is at Station 32.
So next question on, really, because we've had such high rains and early rains, if you will, this year, huge growth. I went on a hike the other day and some of the weeds were already, at eye level for me.
Yep.
Seems pretty early for that. What would you say is our fire risk for the remainder of 2026, and what can we be doing to prepare for that? What advice would you give us, and what stack ranking would you give us in terms of readiness for our risk or exposure?
That's a really great question. And in my career, I've always heard it's going to be the worst fire season ever because when you have a lot of rains and you have high growth, then there's more fuel, right? And then when we don't get rain and everything's really dry, then we have what we call ground fuel, but we have drier big plants like the brush and the chamise and those types of things. Usually the grass goes and catches those on fire, and it's kind of like a chain reaction or a ladder. We call them ladder fuels. So this year we have a lot of ladder fuels, but they're really green. And so unless it starts to really brown up or dry out, we're still doing okay. But as you know, the summer's going to come. It's going to get hot. All of that's going to brown up pretty quick, and then we're going to have a really significant potential for those ground fuels, for the ladder fuels. So the best way to combat that is through defensible space and doing your weed abatement or your clearance around your homes, road clearances around all the public right-of-ways, public roadways. All of those types of things will help mitigate the risk. But really, it's going to be a big defensible space year for us to go around and check all the properties and the homeowners to get that stuff done.
So we encourage our community to take advantage of your defensible space recommendation calls?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Assuming a incident in Los Olivos, would that be Station 30 or 32, or how do you determine?
Yeah. Before the dispatch center was built, we had defined jurisdictional boundaries. Now it's all based on your vehicle's location. So if, for example, Engine 30 was at the grocery store at Nielsen's, it would be closer. It would be what would get pinged to go to Los Olivos. The computer-aided dispatch calculates what unit is the closest, and that's what it recommends to be sent. In the old days, it would send whatever engine was whose district it was on a map that we figured out a long time ago. So really, there is no such thing as a district anymore. It's all based on vehicle's location. So if Engine 30 was at the store or at something in Buellton for whatever reason, maybe getting fuel, then 32 in San Ynez would go there. So it really depends on where everybody's at for that specific moment now.
Thank you. Does staff any questions? Anything else? Thank you so much for your report, and stay safe and keep us safe as well.
Thank you. And if there's an opportunity for us to be more present, I'm definitely willing and would be honored to come more often if you guys would like quarterly
Absolutely.
reports in person. So yeah,
It is
work with
best.
staff, and
Yeah.
we'll set that up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to public communications. Would you like to read that into the record, please?
At this time, you may address the council on items not on the agenda and on consent. Time limit is 3 minutes, and we will start with in-person public comments first.
Okay, first up is Tracy Beard, followed by Robbie Hargroves.
Hi, thank you this evening. I want to let you know we have an economic summit coming up on March 13th. We have Greg Hart that's going to speak. We have Randy Murphy who's going to tell about our increase possibly on doing the BID downtown update and where we are with that. We have Scott Wolf that's going to talk about initiatives happening over there. We have Joan Hartman that's going to just talk about what's happening in the valley. And Esther Bates is going to talk about the state of nonprofits, and Erica Flores will talk about housing. So we have a full summit set up for the 13th from 2:30 to check-in, and 3 to 5 is the summit. So we hope you all can attend and be part of it. And we also want to thank Randy Murphy for his award that he received at the League of Cities. Congratulations on that, to receive that. Thank you.
Robbie, followed by Susie Townsend.
Council, Mayor Brown. My name is Robert Richard Hargreaves III. I am the owner of Solvang Skate Shop. It was brought to my attention today that there is an app called Solvang Passport that is promoting local businesses, and I just wanted to make sure that the process that was taking place is fair and just for all the businesses in town. I was notified earlier today by Dave Brown, and I was just notified that this is not, or maybe not, a city-run app. And I just want to make sure that we are creating a fair space for all the businesses to be successful, thrive in the city of Solvang, creating a platform that creates memories for our tourism, that builds customers and our tourism to come back to the city, building memories for them that will last a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you. Susie Townsend, followed by Shauna. Oh, I'm sorry. This is general comment. Did you want to talk about a specific 7A? I'm sorry. She gave them all to me and I wasn't looking at the items. I apologize for that. That's, I think the junior mayor would do a lot better job. I'm quite certain of it. I don't have any more speaking forms for public comment. Is there anyone on Zoom or anyone else in the community that has anything they wish to bring up? Okay. Then we will proceed to item 4, our city manager report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I have a few things to announce. First of all, there is a survey out, a couple of surveys actually. One is specific to the American with Disabilities Act. The links are posted on the city's website. There's also paper copies available here in City Hall. It will be up until April 30th, and it's specifically asking for public input to help us identify areas of improvement. We also have a survey up, and that, I said that goes through April 30th. And we also have a survey up for Friedensburg Canyon. I know I've received a few requests, I know a few of the council have as well, from members of the public to participate in that survey, and it is at www.surveymonkey.com, and then slash the letter R, like Randy, then another slash FSSDJF7, and if you want to send me an email, I can forward this to you. You can also look on the city's Facebook page. We posted that link about 3 days ago, and I believe it's going to be in our upcoming newsletter. So, and that survey is open until March 20th. So those are a couple of surveys. We also have had some concerns expressed about having difficulty accessing the agendas. We went to a new agenda management system on the first of the year. Unfortunately, our computers typically are creatures of habit, and they like to go back to whatever you've cached CACHED, not cash like money, cash in the past. And so that's kind of the default. So if you're having difficulties, recommended quick fix, and this will be in our newsletter and on Facebook soon, that deleting previous bookmarks to the old agenda page, clearing the browser's cache and cookies, creating a new bookmark using the updated link below on this page. It's cityofsolvang.com/593/2026 the word 2TO, another hyphen, current hyphen, agenda hyphen, minutes. I think if you start searching that, it is available on our website. You just kind of have to look for it. So I want to make sure that information is out there. A couple of items on the upcoming agenda. And the next agenda in 2 weeks, we're going to have a couple of ordinances, first reading and or second reading, because there's a first reading of one tonight. We're going to award the website design. We're currently in the process. We're going to be updating the city's website. I'm not sure how many people know this, but there is a state mandate to update everything to a .gov extension. We are a .com extension, so we have to change anyway. We've had a lot of issues with the platform that we're currently using, so we've solicited proposals. We have 19, I believe, 21 actual responses, ranging in price from $20,000 or so to over $1 million to update the city's website, which I thought was interesting. And anyway, so that's going to be awarded at the next. Well, we're going to bring it to council and request to award at the next council meeting. On the following meeting, a month from tonight, we will have a presentation about the Parks and Rec master plan. We also intend to award the Alamo Potato Road Reconstruction Project. We received bids and are recommending award, and that project should get started soon thereafter. At one of these next two meetings, I don't know for sure which one yet, but one of the next two meetings, we'll be bringing back, we just had a council goal setting session, and we'll be bringing kind of the outcome of all that and get council buy-in, and so we can help do the budget, populate the budget accordingly. And then the meeting after that, April 13th, among other things, one of the items on there, and I mentioned this before, this beginning, the Solvang Mesa Landscape Lighting Maintenance District hearing process. So that will be a public hearing currently scheduled for April 13th. And that's all that I have for now.
Thank you. Any questions of our city manager? Wow, a report with no questions? No wonder you won the award. Way to go. Well done. All right, we'll move on to item 5. If you'd read that into the record, please.
Government Code Section 53232.3D, AKA AB 1234, and Government Code Section 84308, AKA SB 1439, report out, ex parte communications, council comments, requests.
Okay. Who wants to start? Okay.
We start from left to right. I don't have much to report out. I do want to disclose that I met with the Homeowners Association, or the Association for the Mobile Park group, this past weekend, just to join into their meeting and give them a city update. And they're quite engaged. The good news is they're paying attention. Had a lot of good questions.
Thank you. Is there anything?
A few things. I just want to say thank you to Jose and Trevor and Nathan and Ulrich, who joined us on a tour of the wastewater treatment facility. So that was eye-opening. And I said, show me everything, and boy, did you guys show me everything. Went along with also Councilmember Arona. So that was the first time I had visited it, and I really appreciate the time that you all spent on that very, very windy day. Also, very briefly attended the chamber mixer to welcome the Giving Inc. And also last week I attended a Zoom meeting which was addressing the housing and homelessness situation in Santa Barbara County. And that's about it.
Thank you.
I have nothing to report tonight.
Okay.
The only thing was I was there, excuse me, at the chamber meeting also. And it's the only thing I attended in the last couple of weeks.
Okay. I'll give you a quick report. On the 11th, I was at the North County Sub-Regional Meeting for SCAG. And then on the 12th, I participated in a meeting with the Fred Tan, organized the meeting for our initiative for biolubricants. And then on the 18th, I met with many dignitaries, including Senator Adam Schiff at the San Ynez Valley Cottage Hospital with the new designation that they received. Well, not new, but continued designation would be a better word. And then the 19th was the Santa Barbara County Association of Governments meeting on the 19th in Santa Maria. And then the Coast Rail Coalition Committee on the 19th, and then, on the 20th. And then I just came from the Danish History, or Danish Museum group at the Elverhoy. And so we have a large contingent of, well, Wendy was there, and so was Mr. Murphy. Nice event for a gathering of many brothers and sisters from Denmark and Danish communities throughout the United States. So that's all I had. Oh, shout out. Again, congratulations, Mr. Murphy, for the award and your team. I get many compliments throughout the week, and I'm so delighted that I can share that credit with you guys and your team. So thank you. We'll move on to consent items number 6. Would you read that into the record, please, Ms. Clerk?
Consent is for routine administrative city matters and is approved with one motion. These items are only discussed on request of council members.
Thank you. Do we have any modifications to the agenda, or anybody wish to pull any of those items? Okay. Is there,
I'll move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the item 6 consent items. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Infante.
Yes.
Councilmember Claudia Rona.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Elizabeth Arona.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Okay, now we have our public hearing, item 7A. Would you read that into the record, please, when you get a chance?
Public hearing to consider introducing for first reading ordinance number 260390, amending section 1163 allowable uses and permit requirements of chapter 6 residential zoning districts and section 11, 12, 20 short-term vacation rental regulation of chapter 20 supplemental regulations of title 11 of the Solvang Municipal Code and making a determination of exemption under CEQA.
Thank you very much. Staff report, please, Mr. Castillo.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council. So this is sort of the last stop of our almost year-long journey of updating the short-term rental ordinance. So again, just to give a background of where we are at, our previous ordinance was adopted in 2014 through an emergency ordinance. That ordinance was, again, codified with no changes in 2016. Since that time, technology and platforms have outpaced our existing regulations. And so in March 2025, this council directed staff to begin on working amending the vacation rental ordinance. This was an action coupled with the Measure U and the extension of TOT funds to sort of act together. So again, why are we updating the ordinance? We are updating it due to a couple reasons. One is our lack of enforcement tools in the current ordinance. There's currently a lack of applicant follow-up, so our current vacation rental ordinance just has one application and that's it. They're supposed to follow up with city staff, but no, nothing is really done. There's limited safety and inspection requirements to ensure these units are in compliance. There's currently no permit cap or oversight. And then the last one is the housing availability concerns, particularly with our new zoning ordinance that allows for mixed-use developments, as well as our pressures from the state of California to go ahead and preserve long-term housing needs and goals. So the proposed ordinance, everything that you see in the pink area is what's considered village mixed use. That is currently where most of our vacation rentals are currently permitted and allowed. There is a little section of what's called R3. It's our higher density residential areas. It's in this area that's currently also allowed, but as part of this amended ordinance, those will be removed again for consistency with our adopted housing element to remove those properties and preserve long-term housing. So some of the key features are a citywide permit-based regulatory framework. So while it's only allowed in the village mixed-use areas, these rules, regulations do apply for the entire city. Again, with the idea from the council direction was to just include housing units within the village mixed-use district only and eliminate the need or eliminate the ability for any short-term rental to be outside of that zone. There's currently a 40 permit cap limit with a waiting list. So that was an item that we brought back for direction, and we were given direction from the council to include a cap limit. So currently, right now, we have approximately 25 units that are currently permitted with permits. That's actually going to drop down to about 20 because we have two short-term rental operations that are actually hotels, and so they will be defined as hotels and will not need to go into the short-term rental program. So they're just now function as a hotel and pay a regular TOT tax. So again, that'll free up the number of permits. So there is a cushion about 20 to 25 permits that are there. And again, the STRs are limited to village mixed use only versus our carve-out approach. And again, that is for consistency with our housing element, eliminating those R3 lots. And we actually do have a couple R3 lots that do have permits. They will allow to continue those permits as a non-conforming basis. However, any new permits in those zones will not be permitted. And again, they're non-transferable permits for certain permit holders. So I just described that where as we allow for those R3 permit holders to continue on, they won't be able to transfer those permits. So once they are exhausted in terms of selling their property, they will no longer be eligible for a short-term rental. So again, this action really does implement our housing element. So we've went through a pretty prolonged battle to get our housing element approved and certified by the state of California. So it prohibits short-term rentals in what's called ADUs or accessory dwelling units. SB 9, that's actually the ability to do a by right lot split. So if you have a single-family home in a single-family zone, you can do a lot split by right. So there's no public hearing, there's no public notice. It's simply an application, a surveyor, and off you go to get your lot split. And then finally, affordable housing. So it's kind of known as a double dipping. What we don't want to have happen is have developers take advantage of state density bonus rules, which basically alleviates things such as heights, setbacks, and parking, and double dip. So essentially what that means is they're getting all these regulations and they can request for alleviation of these regulations to be waived. And typically municipalities do have to waive those. However, they go back and turn those into short-term rentals. That's a double dip because in reality, those regulations are set to provide for an allowance of long-term housing. And so, again, as I touched on earlier, it does allow existing permits outside of the VMU to continue operation. And so they can apply for permits within a time frame, but they just can't transfer the permits upon sale or conveyance. And again, these items before you this evening do support our regional housing needs assessment and housing elements goal, as we are currently in the 6th cycle of the housing element reporting period. From a life safety and neighborhood portion, there are mandatory safety inspections. So there was a revisement proposed by the Planning Commission that's included in your staff report to go out every few years and sort of renew a safety inspection. There's occupancy limits based on bedroom counts. So again, it allows for neighbors to, one, be notified of a short-term rental that's in their neighborhood, two, and understand the maximum number of people that are allowed. Parking, trash, and posting requirements are also all included into the new proposed ordinance, as well as requirement to have a local contact respond within 60 minutes of a complaint. So again, as we issue out these permits, we'll be notifying our neighbors every 300 feet. They'll get a card in the mail indicating the property owner, who the local contact person is, their number, the number of parking spots that are required on site, and the maximum number of occupants. And of course, a QR code on the back to provide any complaints that hopefully at a 24-hour clip. So from an enforcement and compliance standpoint, we're proposing graduated penalties and administrative citations. So our current code enforcement runs on voluntary compliance. We definitely do not want to fine people first off. So as a matter of fact, in November, we went ahead and started we reviewed properties that were actually operating short-term rentals outside of the village mixed use. And so we sent out approximately 25 letters to property owners. We currently have a 100% compliance rate without issuing any fines. So we were able to send out letters. We did do a couple follow-ups on some folks where they didn't realize that they still had their listing up, and so we helped them understand to just how to remove it. And then these changes do provide a permit revocation authority, which our current ordinance does not have. There is a 2-year ineligibility after revocation, so usually revocation is the last step of what we want to do. Again, we're looking for voluntary compliance. Typically, once we send out a letter or a message, we get the compliance that we need, but this ability to have enforcement helps us ultimately have a better ordinance in the end. And finally, we are including what's called platform reporting requirements. So that's for Airbnb and VRBO, which is now allowed by the state of California as of January 1st. So we do have a caveat that we can request information to audit tax information from Airbnb and VRBO to make sure we are recouping our required TOT taxes. So the proposed action this evening is consistent with the general plan, your adopted 2045 general plan, which supports village area tourism. Protects our residential neighborhoods by focusing our short-term rentals within the village. It promotes the missing middle housing as it eliminates sort of that R3 housing, which is desperately needed and which we don't have much infill left of, and advances anti-displacement strategy, particularly with older units. As a part of any project, we do have to go through what's called the California Environmental Quality Act review. It is exempt from CEQA due to Section 150.61(b)(3), as it's no potential environmental impact. So our Planning Commission is recommending the City Council introduce for first reading ordinance number 260390, amending Section 1163 allowable use and permit requirements of Chapter 6 and Section 11-2020, known as short-term rental vacation rental regulations of Title 11 of our zoning ordinance, and make a determination of exemption under CEQA. And with that, I'll open up to any questions that the council may have.
Thank you. Do any colleagues have any questions?
I was just wondering, what is the difference between a short-term rental and a hotel? What triggers that distinction?
They're actually one and the same almost. Short-term rental typically is done in a residential home, but it's a stay of less than 30 days.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question regarding the enforcement aspects of it. You'd mentioned that we had no previous enforcement throughout the city. And I understand the administrative, what'd you call it? You just had it up there, I'm sorry. Administrative
Fines. Yeah.
or overhead, but we changed that, or we changed a lot of the fines to be misdemeanor as opposed to going for the others. I don't know if this is going to be of that caliber or not for violations.
Again, we're seeking voluntary compliance usually, so usually the first letter gets folks out, but if it's necessary, we can step up if it becomes a nuisance issue, and it looks like Chelsea's going to step in a little bit on that.
Mayor, are you referring to the prior ordinance that we've introduced?
Correct.
Yes. So that ordinance that we did the other night affects the general penalties provision, so that does apply across the code. And that would make any violation of this new ordinance, should the council ultimately adopt it, be default to a misdemeanor. However, we would still have administrative fines as an option. And even under the criminal penalties, the way we've set it up is the city would still have the discretion to charge anything as an infraction, which is a lesser violation. Anything that's a misdemeanor can also be charged as an infraction. So that change didn't lock us into charging violations of, for example, short-term rentals as misdemeanors.
Okay. Thank you. And then how did you arrive at the max of 40?
So that was the discussion we had at our last city council meeting in regards to direction. Originally, we had proposed no cap, and then it was a number sort of thrown out as it doubled the amount of permits that were available. Because again, based on what we have under the existing program, which is approximately 25, and again, as I mentioned earlier, would drop down to 20 as a couple of those properties begin to exit out.
And how would a waiting list work?
So a waiting list would work as if there is a cap. Essentially, city staff would open up a waiting list through a form that someone fills out. And when it comes to renewals, if there's a property that elects to drop out, the first person on the list would then be called up and asked if they want to apply for a permit and be given a certain time frame to apply for said permit. If there are additional members on the waiting list and they elect not to, then we go on to the next person on the list.
Or if a person was in default or couldn't get the renewal?
Correct.
Then that would open up another one.
Correct. So, again, short-term rentals are essentially a business for property owners. So there are good years and bad years, and sometimes the short-term rentals need to be removed for more permanent housing. So as people exit the program, that would free up permits as they go along.
Okay.
So 2 follow-up questions on that, Raphael. Who is managing that list, and what's the process to submit your name on the wait list?
So there would be a wait list would be open as it's needed. So city staff would manage the list. The form would be available, readily available online. And typically, the way it's been done in a previous situation is we would notify a registrant that they're on the list and then notify their position every renewal year of where they're at.
And that lives in the planning department, or which department?
It would live in community development, yes.
Community development. Okay, thank you. And so the form is online, and the submission would be online.
Correct. Everything would be on a digital transaction, and as we go through an annual renewal, we would then call up that list if it's required.
Anyone else? Then I'll open it up to public comment, and I have a speaker now for item 7A, Susie Townsend.
And Mayor Brown, if you don't mind, I know it's a little semantics, but this is a public hearing item, so if you could officially open the public hearing as well as public comment.
I am opening up the public hearing as advised. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor and council members, I'm here to discuss the STR restrictions. And I feel that if we are truly modernizing the STR ordinance, which I've heard that terminology, we need to recognize that short-term rentals and homestays are a very popular way for people to travel today. Travelers increasingly choose this option. They want a different experience, a quiet neighborhood setting, or an owner-hosted stay in a more home-like environment. Severely limiting these options, which I believe 40 is severely limiting, does not modernize the new policy. It actually puts us behind current traveling trends. Hotels will always be an important part of our economy, but this current trend is not going away, and it should be an option for those that prefer it. Limiting the number of homestays in Solvang, especially in the outer neighborhoods within walking distance to downtown, will cost our city revenue that will be taken to Los Olivos, San Ynez, and Buellton, where they can find a homestay experience. When they stay there, they are more likely to dine and shop there, especially given the parking limitations right now in Solvang. And regarding the housing concerns, many ADUs and studio units are not well suited for long-term rentals. They'll never be used for that. They often lack storage, parking, or other amenities needed for permanent residents. Many of us with ADUs would not rent long-term due to the lack of privacy in a more permanent rental situation. Prohibiting their use as homestays does not necessarily create workforce housing. In many cases, these units will simply remain unused. Finally, I respectfully ask you to reconsider the severe area restriction and proposed limits on homestays. Restricting them to a roughly 2 to 3 block downtown area and capping them at 40 concentrates the impact rather than dispersing it. We can comfortably add more permitted homestays in the surrounding neighborhoods without bothering anyone and only adding revenue to the economy that will otherwise be lost. Owner-occupied homestays are a completely different issue than a large absentee-owned vacation rental. I completely understand the concern with allowing larger homes within the city to be rented as an unsupervised short-term rental. However, when the owner lives on the property, there is built-in oversight and far fewer, if any, issues, especially in the smaller ADUs and studios that can only accommodate up to 2 people. VRBO and Airbnb both request that guests are rated after their stay. No host wants to invite someone onto their property if there is a history of bad behavior.
Are you almost finished?
I'm almost finished.
I'll allow you a couple more minutes.
Okay. I'm only asking that you consider a more balanced approach, one that distinguishes homestays from larger absentee-owned rentals and allows responsible participation beyond a 2 to 3 block area. We would keep visitors in our city, not surrounding towns. It would be a win-win for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone else that wishes to speak on this matter? Anybody on Zoom? Okay, I am then going to close the public comment. I'm sorry?
Hearing.
The public hearing. I'm closing the public hearing. See, we need that first grader here to do the job. So I regret that she left already, but we're closed the public comment and public hearing both. Okay, back to us at the diocese. Any follow-up questions or concerns?
Raphael, I have two more quick questions. Just on the oversight and administrative burden, it made me ask the question about notice, neighbor notification. We need to have the owner notice within a 300-foot radius upon entering their property, I'll say, into the STR status. How will we verify that notification has happened?
That's actually done at the city staff level, so city staff will send out the postcard as we have the
Okay,
tools.
so we own that process.
We will own that process.
No obligation on the owner's side.
That is behind.
Got it.
It
Okay.
is currently, in the current ordinance, it's on the owner to do that.
Yeah, okay.
So we're going to change that.
Got it. And this is our first hearing. I think, how will we receive any other feedback from the hearing, just on online, email? Will we hear that on the second reading?
This is the public hearing to introduce the ordinance, and it's a public hearing only because it's a amendment to Title 11, which is the zoning code. So the next time it's coming before you would just be for second reading on consent of the ordinance. I mean, it's certainly, public can make comment at any time between now and then and on that agenda item. But at that point, if we made changes to the ordinance at the second reading, we would be bringing it back for a reintroduction.
And as you said, this has been in process for quite some time. So, but is there any other urgency to this?
No, I mean, at this point, we're working with our vendor now to procure the software and begin the implementation portion of it. The public commenter did comment on homestays, and so I just want to let what the council know what a homestay is we did have this exact subject at our last time we brought this item to you, and a homestay essentially allows for an owner to be on site and present during the overnight hours, essentially between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. We did bring that exact question to the council of whether to allow homestays to operate outside of the village, and to which the direction was to not allow that at this time.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that was also because of enforcement concerns that we had for that as well. And I want to thank the speaker. I thought that was very concise and articulate and a well thought out presentation. Thank you.
And so as a reminder is, if we do move forward tonight, you can always direct staff to come bring this item back after a year, as sort of a check-in to see where we're at. And if the comfort level is then there, that city staff has properly implemented the ordinance and everything is running hunky-dory, that might be something that we can most certainly entertain to open back up. But again, that's up for the council.
And we could either, at that point, expand the geographic area or the caps or whatever.
Most certainly. We can do a check-in within a year. And that's actually good practice for something like short-term rentals, is to come back on the first year, but then after that, every 2 years, just to make sure everything's running smoothly.
Good, thank you. Any other questions? Anybody wish to, we're going to need a motion for this. If anybody's at that point.
I'll go ahead and move to introduce the first reading of ordinance 260390, amending section 1163, amending section 111220, and making a determination of exemption under CEQA.
I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded for approval of item 7A, or excuse me, not approval, but first reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Infante.
Yes.
Councilmember Claudia Rona.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Elizabeth Arona.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. We'll move on to items 8. Would you read that into the record, please?
Discussion and possible action to receive and file fiscal year 26-27 grant funding summary and provide direction to staff on the grant application process.
Thank you. I'm going to make a decision here to excuse myself for a conflict of interest on this item and turn it over to our Mayor Pro Tem. And you need to give us some additional.
If you could just state the nature of the
The
conflict.
nature is that we are discussing grant items of which my wife's employer is a part of. So I wish to excuse myself.
Thank you, Mayor.
Call me back minutes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Here.
Congratulations on your promotion.
So at this time, we want to hear the staff report.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and members of the public. Tonight, we'll be reviewing the grant funding summary. The grant funding process was open December 1st through January 30th, 2026. 2 mandatory meetings were conducted, one on January 15th and one on January 22nd. Applicants needed to attend one of those meetings to get the information needed to submit their application, and that was a mandatory meeting. We had a total of 8 applicants attend the meeting, and staff received 9 grant funding applications. Upon review, 7 of the 9 applicants passed all the mandatory documents and submitted everything that we needed. The submitted applications will go before the ad hoc budget committee, and we do have, I think, all of the members out in the public and one possibly on Zoom. So with that, I'll pass it back to council for questions.
Does anyone have any questions?
Wendy, when we did this last year and the year before, what was the time of year that we held the open application window?
It was January to February.
Yeah, was there rationale for us to change the dates to 25 and 26
Yes,
over the holidays?
Yes, because it was too tight for the whole budget cycle.
Okay. Just worry that I noticed that we had far fewer applicants than we've had the years past. There were some obvious missing applicants because we've found ways to secure funding for Chamber and Senior Center and Danish Days Foundation. So those folks are drop-offs, I think maybe expected drop-offs we might conclude, but there were some others. I was curious if the window of time would have affected participation this year.
I don't believe so because we had at least one new applicant that hadn't applied the previous 2 years. And we had, actually we had two new ones. And we did have one applicant that was able to submit all their information prior to, like right in the beginning. So I don't think that's an issue. I think it might be more because we have the mandatory requirements and everything has to be submitted to streamline that process.
Was there any feedback that the two dates being back-to-back in January were convenient? Anybody, what were the options if you couldn't make one of those two dates?
There wasn't an option because those were the two meetings, and that's what we had last year as well. We had two meetings. And everybody came, and they are here, and they are welcome to comment on that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and prior to the grant funding application process, I did email all contestants or applicants saying that the grant funding period was...
Prior applicants?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Wendy. Appreciate that. So now we will open it to public comment. I have a couple of slips here. The first one I have is Shauna Shank from Buellton.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Great. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. My name is Dr. Shauna Shank, and I'm the Executive Director and Veterinarian at the Sandy Inez Valley Humane Society in our neighboring Buellton. I'm here to share how closely connected our organization is to the Solvang community and the role your residents play in the work we do every year. In 2025, our shelter facilitated 473 animal adoptions. More than 23% of those adoptions were to Solvang families. That means nearly 1 out of every 4 animals who found a new home last year is now living right here in Solvang. Those numbers represent more than just statistics. They represent families choosing adoption, children meeting their first pet, and animals being given a second chance. Solvang residents are not only benefiting from our services, they are active partners in building a compassionate and responsible community for animals. Our clinic services reflect that same strong connection. Last year, we provided more than 850 clinic appointments across the region, and again, over 23% of those appointments were for Solvang residents. These services focus on preventative and supportive care that help families keep their pets healthy and in their homes. We offer low-cost vaccines and spays and neuters at a time where veterinary care continues to rise. Access to these clinic services plays an important role in reducing animal homelessness. When families are able to care for their pets, fewer animals enter shelters and communities experience fewer stray and abandoned animals. This benefits everyone, from neighborhood safety to overall community well-being. What makes this partnership especially meaningful is that Solvang is not just a community we serve, it is a community that supports us. Solvang residents volunteer their time, adopt from our shelter, and participate in our programs. They open their homes as fosters, they bring their pets to us for care, and they advocate for humane treatments of animals throughout the valley. Together, we are helping to reduce stray populations, strengthen the bond between people and their pets, and ensure that animal welfare remains part of what makes Solvang such a special place to live. As we look to the future, our goal is to continue expanding access to clinic services, strengthening adoption programs, and remaining a reliable resource for Solvang families who need support for their animals. Thank you for recognizing the importance of animal welfare in your city and for allowing us to share the work we are doing on behalf of your residents and their pets. We are proud to serve Solvang. I have like 2 seconds. We're proud to serve Solvang and grateful for your continued partnership. I'd also like to invite all of you to the shelter itself. Many people have not made their way over there, so we are always an open door. So I'd love to have each and every one of you come out. I love to talk about our programs. We have a lot of capital improvements also in the works, so please come and see us. And on behalf of the animals, the families, and the staff of the Sandy and Inez Valley Humane Society, thank you for helping us build a healthier and more compassionate community together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shank. Appreciate that.
Do you need me for questions or anything?
No. Thank you. Next, I have Kristen McCormick.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and the city members of the City Council and fellow residents of Solvang. My name is Kirsten McCormick, and I'm the Executive Director of the Solvang School Education Foundation. I was born and raised here in the Valley, as a previous Danish maid, as well as my parents, and my dad is a Solvang School alum. I love this place, and I'm so thankful that I get to raise my kids here as well. SSEF's mission is to ensure that every student at Solvang School has access to a comprehensive education, one that challenges their brains, promotes physical well-being, and crucially cultivates their creative spirits. We believe that a whole child approach is incomplete without robust exposure to the arts. Tonight, we're requesting a $10,000 grant to support the 3 pillars of our creative curriculum: art, music, and drama. To be clear, the arts at Solvang School are not just a hobby. They are a rigorous part of our academic ecosystem. This year, SSEF's total budget for the arts instruction supplies is $90,000. This covers $80,000 for the salaries of our credentialed teachers and $10,000 for specialized supplies. However, as state budgets and traditional school funding continue to tighten, the pressure on the foundation to fill these gaps has never been greater. We would love to provide more instruments, more advanced technology, more funding, but as costs rise, simply maintaining our current level of excellence will require a partnership with the city. Unlike general volunteers, these credentialed teachers provide scaffolded, standards-aligned curriculum for 100% of our student population, TK through 8th grade. Why is this investment so critical? Because an arts-rich education is a fundamental driver of development. In music, our students build spatial temporal skills directly linked to success in mathematics and logic. In drama, through our spring musical and elective programs, students master soft skills like emotional regulation, public speaking, and collaborative problem solving. In visual arts, we provide professional grade media, allowing students to find their voice and stay engaged with their education. The impact of this grant exceeds far beyond the classroom walls to the thousands of residents in the city of Solvang. There's direct community enrichment. Our winter and spring concerts, the show of shows, our spring musical are not just school events. They are community cultural milestones. They bring together parents, grandparents, business owners, providing high-quality entertainment and a sense of collective pride. Economic and property values. A school district known for its robust arts program makes Solvang a premier destination for young families, which stabilizes and increases our local property values. And workforce development. We are cultivating the next generation of creative thinkers and designers who will eventually lead Solvang's tourism and hospitality-based economy. The Solvang School Education Foundation maintains a diversified budget funded through local business sponsorships, grants, and our signature events like the Color Run and our Spring Carnival. However, we cannot close the gap for our arts faculty alone. By granting this $10,000 request, you are partnering with us to ensure that every child in Solvang, regardless of their financial background, has an instrument in their hand, a paintbrush in their fingers, or a spotlight to step into. Let's keep the creative spirit of Solvang thriving. Thank you for your time and your support.
Thank you, Ms. McCormick, and I apologize for pronouncing your name Kristen instead of Kirsten, so thank you. Next, I have Jennifer Sangregret. Sangregret, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to share about the Solvang Supportive Services Network, operated by San Ynez Valley People Helping People. My name is Jennifer Sangregret. I'm the Director of Philanthropy and Community Engagements at SYV People Helping People. The Solvang Supportive Services Network, SSSN, is a comprehensive community-based initiative designed to enhance the well-being, stability, and long-term self-sufficiency of low-income residents in Solvang. Our mission is simple: to ensure that Solvang residents, children, families, seniors, veterans, and people with disabilities have the access to essential support they need to thrive. The program focuses on 5 core goals: preventing homelessness and housing instability, improving access to health and mental health care, supporting economic self-sufficiency, reducing isolation, especially among seniors and individuals with disabilities, and strengthening families and improving outcomes for youth. Our target population includes residents earning less than 80% of their area median income, seniors on fixed incomes, unhoused or unstably housed individuals, veterans, people with disabilities, and transitional aged youth. Through SSSN, we deliver a wide range of supportive services, including housing stability with rental assistance navigation, landlord mediation and eviction prevention, move-in assistance, emergency shelter referrals, and help locating and applying for affordable housing. We also help with health and mental health support, Medi-Cal and covered California enrollment, access to mobile health clinics, and substance abuse referrals and transportation, food and nutrition assistance, grocery assistance, CalFresh enrollment, home delivery meals for homebound seniors, and bi-monthly food distribution at the mission. Family and youth services, parenting workshops, child care navigation, and youth mental health support, and senior and disability support, in-home support services coordination, power, and assistance with SSI. In calendar year 2025, the Solvang Supportive Services Network delivered meaningful, measurable results for the community. Residents served, we served 388 Solvang residents received our services. 1,619 total services were delivered to those residents. The key outcomes were 34 Solvang children received backpacks. Thank you. 6 students received counseling through 82 sessions. 20 residents received 91 enhanced care management encounters. 9 residents received housing navigation services. 2 residents received ongoing tenancy support. Solvang's residents that visited our food distribution 1,296 times, and 148 Solvangs participated in our Fulfill a Wish program. Importantly, no City of Solvang funds were used for the clients living outside city limits. Although People Helping People continues to serve the broader San Ynez and Los Alamos valleys, across that larger region, a total of 10,884 services were provided to 1,763 individuals. In closing, the Solvang Supportive Services Network continues to be a vital stabilizing force for our most vulnerable community members. Thanks to the City of Solvang's support, People Helping People has been able to prevent crisis, strengthen families, and improve the health, housing stability, and long-term well-being of hundreds of local residents. Thank you for your continued partnership and for your commitment to supporting people of Solvang.
Thank you very much. And I apologize for mispronouncing your name, and this has convinced me I definitely have to go get my eyes checked, so thank you. So back to the council. Oh, is there anyone online? I apologize. Oh.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. I wasn't really expecting to speak tonight. Our chair for our 4th of July parade couldn't make it, and I just got a text to get over here, so I apologize. My name is Frank Smithson. I do live in Solvang. I do want to thank you all for everything you do in our community. We're here, and we're going to put on the best 4th of July parade this year for the 250 years. Ours is a little different. We do an invoice receipt type payment. We request an amount up to anything over we cover, and up to that amount we do turn in receipts and invoices to cover everything from the street cleaning afterwards to porta cans at lot 72, renting lot 72 for the horses. So a lot going into it, and more. I'm just excited for it. You know, it's going to be our 250th year, and we want to make it very special. We're already talking to a lot of the community, whether it be Rio Vista Chevrolet and Breland. We want, you know, red, white, and blue Mustangs and Corvettes and trucks and all kinds of stuff. So we promise that we're going to make a good one, and hopefully you all will support it like you always have. We worked hand in hand on this for many years, and I do thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have anyone online? Doesn't look like that. So, no one online? No hand up? Okay. Would you like to speak? Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, President Pro Tem and Council. I'm Ian Jacobson. I took over for Jack Williams as president of the Solvang Community Development Alliance on the 21st of January and promptly went off to Antarctica, and I'm back now, and so getting into the groove of this thing. I didn't really realize I was going to be speaking this evening like Frank, but I wanted to remind you about the Solvang Community Development Alliance. We seek donations and projects to drive economic growth, to promote community resilience, to build social cohesion, and to enhance the quality of life in the San Ynez Valley. There are some projects and some services that will be coming before you that may not fit into what the council can fund, but that are worthwhile projects that we can work as a fiscal agent to try and find funds for those. So that is our role. We're a fiscal agent. We are looking for worthwhile projects that increase the quality of life here in the valley for our residents, and looking for projects, then looking for sources of funds to be able to fund that. So I just wanted to remind you about our presence. I know that Jack, I believe that Jack has spoken to you in the past, but since Jack has retired from this position and they couldn't find anyone else, here I am. Yay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have a hand up online.
David Roberts.
David
or
Roberts.
Robertson. Yeah, Roberts.
Oh, go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. So say good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council members. My name is David Roberts, and I'm here on behalf of Veggie Rescue, formerly known as the San Ynez Valley Fruit and Vegetable Rescue, to present our grant application and report back last year's use of funds. First is, for those of you who don't know who we are, just a quick reminder, Veggie Rescue is the only nonprofit in Santa Barbara County that rescues surplus food directly from farms, grocery stores, and distributors, and delivers it within 24 hours at no charge to nonprofits, schools, and churches. We don't have a warehouse. Our refrigerated trucks are our distribution hubs, going directly from the field or the grocery shelf to the organization, feeding our neighbors. Here in Solvang, that means partners like Solvang School, People Helping People, the Solvang Senior Center, Bethany Lutheran Church, and Atterdag at Home. Last year's investment of $10,000 made possible for Veggie Rescue to deliver 254 deliveries to our Solvang partners, delivering 58,500 pounds of food that would otherwise have gone to landfills. Those deliveries were powered directly by your grant, providing drivers wages, fuel, truck maintenance for our Solvang routes. Countywide, we made 1,680 deliveries, rescued 744,000 pounds of food from 55 farms and businesses, delivering it to 66 nonprofits countywide. The food helped create 620,000 meals for people experiencing food insecurity, seniors, families, children, students, and neighbors experiencing homelessness. Because we deliver at no cost, our partner organizations saved $1.3 million in food costs, money that they redirected to their other critical programs. And by keeping 744,000 pounds out of landfills, we prevented 670 tons of CO2 from entering the atmosphere. We had set a goal to increase our food recovery by 10% in 2025, and we exceeded it, achieving an 18% increase over 2024. As you might be aware, that the estimated need in Solvang is real, with an estimated 1 in 4 Solvang residents experiencing food insecurity. That's roughly 1,500 of our approximately 6,000 residents. We currently reach about half of them, and with your continued support can help us reach more. For 2026, we're requesting $12,500, a modest increase of $2,500 to continue and expand our delivery capacity to Solvang. These funds will go directly to a driver's wages, fuel, and truck maintenance costs to keep food moving in Solvang. We have a proven track record with this funding, a fiscally sound organization with $628,000 in equity and deep roots in this community. Veggie Rescue exists because of partnerships like the one we have with the city of Solvang. Your investment is not just feeding people, it's saving your partner nonprofits money, protecting the environment, and strengthening the fabric of our community. We are grateful for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Appreciate that. Anyone else? Any hands? Anyone in the audience? Okay, I'll bring it back to council. Any questions?
I have a question. Wendy, we're not hearing from two key applicants, Atterdag at Home and Nature Track, tonight. Is this the only opportunity for these applicants to present their programs and their applications?
Yes.
And so are we saying they will be disqualified?
No. Because
Okay.
presenting is not a requirement.
It's in the list of qualifications.
Yes, but it's not a,
Okay, it's fine.
it's not a do or don't do.
Any other comments?
I'll move that we receive and file the fiscal year 26-27 grant funding summary and provide the staff with the direction to approve all of this.
Just a clarification, the actual council approval of the grants will come through with the budget item. So this would just be a motion to receive and file the report tonight.
She's always correcting me. I move that we receive and file the report.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So, Madam,
Yeah.
Clerk, we have a roll call?
Councilmember Infante.
Yes.
Councilmember Claudia Arona.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Elizabeth Arona.
Yes.
Mayor Brown absent. Motion passes 4-0.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, for pinch hitting. And we're now at the end of our meeting. Is there, oh wait, there's one more item. Okay, item 8B. Okay. See, you know, the biggest fear of my life is that, are you smarter than a fifth grader, you know? So it's, we had a first grader here earlier and rattled my cage. All right. Would you read item 8B into the record, please?
Adopt Resolution 261307, accepting completion of the Nyborg Estates Waterline Replacement Project PW 250001.
Thank you. Staff report, please.
Slight technical difficulty. There was a miscommunication about the PowerPoint, so give me a second to pull it up.
I'll go ahead and give a quick background on the project. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the public of Solvang. My name is Jose Acosta. I'm your utility director. What we're bringing forth tonight is notice of completion for the Nyborg mainline water replacement project that took place this past year. We started the project in July of 2025, and completion was done at the end of January of this year, ahead of schedule. The project consisted of replacement of 4,900 linear feet of C900 mainline pipe. It also replaced 6 new water valve clusters within the community at Nyborg Estates, and we also had a second phase of that with replacement of valve clusters up in Sunrise Village. We also replaced several meters that were needed, and also all the service lines and water hydrants and other equipment such as air relief valves that were in that neighborhood as well. The contractor who completed the work was Tierra Contracting. They did a fantastic job. We were very impressed and amazed with their quality of work and their responsiveness to the community and the staff as well. The utility department staff also maintained close relationship with them and oversight and coordination throughout the project. And the primary neighborhood of Nyborg Estates was completed in 2 phases. Phase 1 was completed on the westward from 5th Street, Aarhus Drive, and over to Osterstedt and Nycobing Streets near 246. The second phase was replacement of the water main installation along Aarhus Drive, Westerstedt, Mittenhof, and Westerhof. Throughout the project, there was only a couple of minor interruptions or emergency responses. We had a couple mainline breaks during the project. This was just showing the need to replace the main lines. As we were shutting down the current main lines that were in the neighborhoods, there was some breaks in there causing some leaks and some flooding of the area. No major damage occurred, but at that time we were able to make those repairs in a responsive manner. Despite those issues and field conditions, we were able to come in within contract. The original contract was for $2,224,170, with the 10% contingency added to that as well when we awarded the contract. The change orders in the contract equal to about 1.64% cost increase, well below the 10% contingency cost. This realized a number of $36,551 in net change orders. Attached to your staff report is a net change order showing the change orders that occurred throughout the project. So there were a total of 8 change orders. 2 of those were the mainline damage that occurred throughout the project. There was some asphalt repairs that had to occur because of the mainline project, mainline breaks. It's okay. You guys should have gotten the slideshow in your packet. Okay. I'll go over those quickly and briefly as I finish speaking on the change order log. One thing that we were able to complete was 2 additional mainline valve clusters that were imperative areas within the city. These were identified later after the project was completed as additional work that Tierra was able to complete and still keep us well below that 10% contingency. I do want to go through the slideshow real quick. The first slide, again, there is the same information that I've just repeated from the staff report, just explaining, the amount for the project, the 1.64 increase in change orders, the linear feet that was replaced, and the project was completed ahead of schedule as well. Again, I want to reiterate the positive public engagement and minimal service disruptions throughout the project. Traffic control was excellent. We do realize that this was a thorough way that people use throughout the city when they're trying to get circumvent coming down 246 and to the downtown area. We didn't have any major issues or concerns or traffic collisions or issues throughout the project as well. The first slide, it's labeled at pivot time. So there was a new alignment realized throughout the project. Tierra was able to do a field adaptation, and they were able to maintain the 10 feet separation from the sewer line, which is a requirement as well by law. The second slide was, well, what do we have here? We have an unmarked irrigation line, which was replaced and repaired in a sleeve. So this irrigation line was not marked. It was not on our plan, so we weren't able to mark it as staff when we went out to mark all the water lines as well. So it was identified during construction. It was identified, unfortunately, by hitting it and seeing the water come out of the ground from the service line. We didn't lose any there was no major water loss during that project, but it was identified, replaced, repaired, and placed back into service. The next slide is heavy metal. Some of these materials that needed to be moved on site, you have some valve clusters. This type of work is completed above ground. It makes it easier to drop it into the hole when they're attaching these valves and making these repairs. Hydrants as well were replaced throughout the project. You can see here, here's one of the newer hydrants. On the right of this picture, you could see that there is a hydrant. That is a dry barrel hydrant. On the left, we have what's called a wet barrel hydrant. Dry barrel hydrant has no water coming up to the top of it. At the bottom, about 6 feet below ground, there is a valve that shuts the water on and off to come out of the hydrant. Dry barrel hydrants are used primarily in cold weather environments. It prevents freezing of the hydrant and allows for seeping of the water to go back down into the ground after you shut off the hydrant. Wet barrel hydrant is wet all the way up to the top of the hydrant at those valves. This allows for quicker access to the water coming in and prevents, it has less of a water hammer effect when you're using the wet barrels.
Then why do you have dry barrel?
Dry barrel was the standard in the industry 40, 50 years ago. Yes.
Been updated. Thank you.
You're welcome. The next slide. That's what we call copper mining. Again, there was a line that was identified by hitting it, but Tierra was very responsive. They were there to fix the line in a quick manner, and there was no major loss of water or issues here as well. The next one, around the bend, we're just showing you here how we had to realign the line out on 5th Street. So you have the main line coming in, which is currently transite pipe, and we were moving the line over about 6 feet to the right of that, but we had to come back in with 245s and reconnect to that line going out onto 5th Street. So that's what we're showing you on that slide. The next slide is identifying and showing some of the paving work that was completed by Tierra for the emergency mainline break. As you can see, this is quite a big patch of pavement that had to occur. When that main line blew out, it lifted the asphalt probably about 4 or 5 inches off the ground and was in need of repair right away. The next slide just showing more paving along the construction trench lines. All paving and all trench lines were repaired according to city standards. So we were able to modify the trench fill with using slurry all the way up to the top, which gives you better compaction, and then we were able to use the asphalt as needed on top. One of the testing methodologies that has to occur is pressurizing the test, pressurizing the line prior to bringing it in service. You pressurize the line for, I believe it was for 12 hours, showing that it can maintain that pressure and that there's no leaks or there's no loss of water in the pipe as well. So they connect these pressure gauges, leave the line pressurized, and identify that there's no loss of water or pressure in that line. The next picture shows you some work that was being done on the sidewalks. We show this because we did have to cross into some of the sidewalks in the area, which did require us to do some concrete repairs at the end of the project, which they did a fantastic job of matching the concrete as best as they could. And here you can also see that how we were replacing some of the meters and some of the service lines coming up to those meters in the front yards. The next slide is showing you how we run how we tap for installation of a service line and a meter. You have your main line, and then you have your corp stop, which you tap into the main line, and then you run your service line with HDPE pipe all the way up to the meter, and you connect the meter at the entrance of the property. And the second to last slide, we're just showing some backfill. When you're backfilling for over pipe, you want to put a bed of sand over the pipe, so that way it protects the pipe and it allows you, when you get closer to the pipe, easier digging and identifying that you're close to that pipe, and you don't continue digging and hitting the pipe when you go to make repairs. The last slide, just want to give some acknowledgments to City Council and to City leadership. Thank you guys for your continued support on these types of projects and understanding that these are vital projects that need to occur. And as you guys are aware, we're bringing we're trying to do a mainline replacement project every 3 years for the city. We're identifying areas that are susceptible to leaks and breaks and in need of repair. The City of Solvang Utility Department, the Water Division team, engineering and inspection from Cannon Corporation. That was our engineering firm that was hired to participate with project management service and inspection services. Really want to thank again Tierra Contracting for their work and their efforts out on the project. Special thanks to the Nyborg Estates residents, the City of Solvang community, the admin finance team, public works team, planning and building team. All behind the scenes, they participated and assisted us with ensuring this project was completed in a timely manner. I'm not done yet. Sorry.
So I just wanted to apologize to people that were watching it or in the audience, because there was a miscommunication about who was going to bring the PowerPoint, and then when I turned my computer back on to pull it up, it decided it was time to update. So the information is available on our website. Jose did a great job, and his team. This is, I shared with him, a lot of times this would have just been on consent. It's really just a ministerial thing that we do, and unfortunately, it seems like the only time public hears about the city if something's gone wrong or somebody wants to complain on social media. This is an opportunity to show that we do know what we're doing. We've got a great team, and this is a success. It was a big project, came in within the allowed variance, and the work was done. There were no complaints. I didn't hear a single complaint. I live in that neighborhood. That's not why I was selected. I have to make sure that everybody understands that. But every one of my neighbors had nothing but good things to say about the project.
Okay, good. Well, anytime you can come in ahead of schedule and on budget, that's a win. I appreciate that. I did have a couple questions, if you may. After you pulled up the old main line, what would you estimate their remaining useful life to be? The old stuff.
Less than 5 years, as I mentioned, during the project itself, just by shutting and turning the valves back on, we had 2 mainline blowouts. So that main line was susceptible to further damage.
That leads me to my next question. I saw on your picture that you had pressure of 200 pounds PSI. Is that typical?
That is not a typical pressure in that neighborhood or in any neighborhood in the city. That's just the testing pressure that you have to test to make sure that the connections and all the service lines are their integrity is
What'd you do to get it to 200 PSI?
They'll use a pump and they'll just pump it in and add air pressure to it.
Okay. And then finally, is there any warranty from Tierra on any of this material and workmanship?
After notice of completion is submitted and accepted and we pay the remaining balance, there's a 1-year warranty.
1 year. Thank you. That's all the any other questions?
Well, just a tactical question. Jose, did we update our maps with with the line that we didn't know was there? Okay.
Yes, we will.
Just compliments to you, the team, and the contractors who did amazing work. Yeah. Carrillo and Tierra.
And so I want to read the motion, the recommended motion from staff, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So the motion is I move to adopt resolution number 26-1307 and thereby accept the work performed by Tierra Contracting for the Nyborg Estates water line replacement project and complete and authorize the city clerk to file a notice of completion with the county recorder's office and provide no claims have been filed, authorize the release of retention in accordance with the contract terms and applicable laws.
Also move.
Well, you can't make the motion. I'm sorry.
I
You
think he
you
just
want to
read it, so I'm
Yeah.
saying I'll repeat it and move, make that a formal motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Public comment?
You can.
We could. Like you
No,
said, it's
if anybody
typically
wants to make
consent.
a
That's
comment,
right.
but you didn't even
I
ask.
will. Thank you. Again, I revert back to my first grader. I don't know what I'll use for next meeting, but that works for this one. Is there any public comment? I'll open it for public comment on this item 8B. Anybody on Zoom? Nobody here locally? Then I will close it to public comment and bring it back to the dais for a motion.
I'll second Councilmember Rona's motion.
You'll make the motion?
No, I'm just
You're
seconding
going to
it.
second it?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we had a second, but we had, okay.
I never got to it.
It's been moved by
The other-
Elizabeth Arona and seconded by Claudia Arona to approve item 8B. Roll call, please.
Rona approval.
Councilmember Infante.
Yes.
Councilmember Claudia Rona.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Elizabeth Rona.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Jose, thank you to you and your team. Very well done.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And now we're at item number, we're at the end of our agenda. Any closing comments by any members, colleagues?
If I may, just one. We had the, I apologize, I forget his name, the gentleman from the skate shop that was talking about some kind of a city business app that the city's not doing? Can you tell me what it is, where it is, and who's doing it? Do we have any knowledge of this thing?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I developed an app for tourism, and it's, I've not charged anybody for it. But it's not city property. I've done this on my own accord. And I've discussed this with our legal team as well.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, but it's meant to be a tourist app, and it'll be forthcoming. It's currently published by, you can get it on Apple Store, and all. But I don't want to advertise it. I'm answering your question.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other comments or closing concerns? Okay.
Is it a revenue generating app?
I'm sorry?
Is the app a revenue generating app?
Not yet. I hope it is. Stand by. Okay. Unless there's anything else, we're adjourned at 8:20 p.m. Thank you.